Hey everyone, Once Bitten here with a battle report between my Beastmen and a Demons army. This is a beautiful, beautiful Demons army that I've played before. You may have seen it in previous reports. Just a rock-solid player and just an army that's beautiful to look at. My Beastmen, not so much. I'm making some progress, some very little progress. So anyway, at dawn attack scenario, I had to deploy first. Obviously in dawn attack you have to roll for where things go, so if you need that to make sense of why things are where, that's why. Also, I forgot to take a picture after deployment, so actually the first pictures you're seeing are actually after turn 1. So anyway, another thing I'm trying this time is instead of wasting time telling you what everything is in my army, I'm just going to post a comment with the army lists as I remember them, and you can pause it and go look there. But basically what I was trying in this list was to add a GORBULL in addition to a Beastlord. There's a lot of fun things I was just playing with in this. Also, I don't have a level 4 caster, I have 3 level 1s. So I was just playing around. So first turn I move up, as you can see. Just trying to get into combat as quickly as possible. Here I have 3 level 1s with some raiders here at the back line. Now one thing I learned in this game is putting the Herdstone way back at your back line is not very helpful, because the max range on a beefed up Weisson's Wild Form is still only 24 inches. So note to self, don't do that again. I need to put that closer to the middle. My chariot had to deploy in the far right corner and obviously can't march. When he moved through this river of light, he rolled the spell that doubled his movement, so he didn't have to march and he could still get the distance of marching, which I thought was pretty funny. You can see on the left I have those 5. They look like UNGORs, or actually HARPIES. I can't find the wings I want to convert them. So I've got a unit of HARPIES, and behind them 2 individual RAZORGORs. My thinking is, in my magic phase, I buff them up with a couple Weisson's Wild Form, and then use them to charge his flamers, or at least one of the units of flamers, hoping he'll do a stand and shoot, not hurt them too much, and then my RAZORGORs, or a RAZORGOR and a chariot, can go into that same unit of flamers and not have to suffer through a stand and shoot. So kind of what I was thinking there. Demons turn 1, he moves up. I think he tried to charge with the Demonettes and failed. I don't know if he tried other charges. If he did, he failed, and he kept his line nice and smooth. Here he brought his fiend. I think that's a fiend, whatever it's called. Brought it up and just parked it in front of my my RAZORGOR. Obviously he wasn't worried about me charging him, and I think he felt that if he charged me, it'd probably be a failed charge. So anyway, that's what he did. Otherwise, he picks on my BESTIGORS a little bit and kills a bunch of them. I'm not sure why these pictures are. We go to Beastman turn 2. So if you look on the right, my plan worked. I got 2 buffs on my HARPIES. He did a stand and shoot, killed only one of them. Then I had a RAZORGOR and a chariot also go into the same unit, and I think I can mop up 1 unit of flamers. Now I won't have that buff on me when it comes to combat, but I don't think at weapon skill 2 he's going to kill too many of my HARPIES, and I'll have impact hits and a couple hard hitting units. So I'm thinking I've got 1 unit taken care of, and then I'll probably overrun with the HARPIES and the RAZORGOR, stay there with the chariot, and when he charges me with his bloodletters in the upper right, just flee, and hopefully they'll get a failed charge and be stuck there without marching up and getting into the battle. BESTIGORS charges Fleshhounds in the middle of the field. Very happy with that. I think BESTIGORS should be able to chop them up, and any remaining should pop after combat res. So very excited about that. Over here, obviously, I charge my RAZORGOR, because why not? And a close-up of that. And by the way, that RAZORGOR is now painted, just not in this battle report. So making slow progress. So after combat, we traded wounds, and then after combat res, he popped. So I was very happy with that. And then I just did a combat reform. Over here, oh my gosh, amazingly bad rolling. Impact hits did 1. I didn't wound any. I mean, I think I did 1 or 2 wounds total. between the Chariot, the RAZORGOR, and then the Harpies. He killed 2 Harpies. I won combat, and he didn't lose any more wounds. And now I'm in a world of trouble. That did not go as expected. Over here, this went horribly wrong. The Fleshhounds chewed up just a bunch of my BESTIGORS, and going back through them, I think maybe I did 4 wounds, but not nearly as much as I had hoped for. And then after his instability test, he didn't lose anything more, and that's going to hurt. Matter of fact, I think that'd be the theme of this game. I think so many times during it I said, oh, that's going to hurt. So here we go, Demon's turn 2. And his Keeper of Secrets comes into the flank of the BESTIGORS, and that's not going to go well for me. Bloodletters, if you look on the upper right, easily make the charge into the Chariot combat, and that's not going to go well for me. Yeah, other views. And so afterwards, this time I actually finally did, well, I guess probably 4 more wounds, maybe 5 wounds on the Hounds. So that was nice, and I think he issued a challenge, and so he tore up my champion, and so I minimized the effect this turn, and so I'm okay. The next turn, he's going to chop through some stuff. So over here after the combat, yeah, he just killed the Chariot easily. There's 1 Harpy left who broke. The RAZORGOR only took 1 wound. He broke, and yeah, that's just a mess. Just a mess. He had moved up obviously with his other flamers and shot at the other RAZORGOR and only did 1 wound. So I felt I was pretty lucky there. So we go to Beastman turn 3. So on his turn, his Demonettes tried to charge and failed. So I got a double charge with this unit of GORS. Excuse me. This unit of GORS with my BEASTLORD and my BSB and my MINOTAURS that have the DOOMBULL with them into his Demonette. So very, very excited for that combat. I really expect just to chop through them. Here in the middle of the table, I bring this other unit of GORS and the Chariot into the flank of his Keeper of Secrets. And I keep wanting to say Lord of Change. He's the Keeper of Secrets, and if I ever say otherwise, I apologize. Anyway, I know I'm feeding him potential combat res here, but I'm not sure he's going to kill GORS any easier than he's going to kill BESTIGORS if he chooses to go that route. And I get a standard of charge, a flank, impact hits, so there's just a lot of combat res here I'm hoping to get. It's really the only way I know how to take care of his general is through combat res, so hoping to get it here. Charge the RAZORGOR into that unit of flamers. I don't expect to really win that, but what else am I going to do? He's just going to dance around and shoot at me otherwise. The RAZORGOR that was broken in combat rallied. And here's a wonderful picture. Anyway, after combat, yeah, we did enough, actually by far enough damage to the Demonettes to pop them. And so I just reformed. And in hindsight, I did not overrun with the Frenzied unit, and I don't know the rules for Frenzy. It could be that I should have overrun my D6, and it wouldn't have mattered. I just don't remember. I just reformed him, so I may have played that rule wrong. Need to get used to playing Frenzied units. And I don't know if I know you have to pursue. I don't know if you have to overrun. I think you do. Anyway, broke that rule. Here I came in and just did nothing. Yeah, I mean I killed the last Hound. My impact hits did nothing. I think I issued another challenge, sacrifice the champion of the GOR unit. So because I wasn't expecting to do wounds on this guy otherwise. But with all the combat res, yeah, I did nothing. So the BESTIGORS reformed, so they'd be facing his general, and otherwise we're just in a world of hurt. So Demon's turn 3, he charged my RAZORGOR, and I fled, and then I don't know who he charged him with. Anyway, the RAZORGOR's gone, both RAZORGORs are gone. And I'm honestly confused about how that happened. I apologize. I don't take notes during my game. It takes long enough just to take pictures. He moves his flamers up to shoot at my wizards, my 3 level 1s in that unit. And at this point, it's his turn, obviously. It's a little bit nerve-wracking for me. I don't know if I separate my wizards out, they can get picked on by the flamers and just easily die. If I leave them together, bad things can happen. So yeah. Anyway, Plaguebearers. I think he wanted to charge my general's unit, but he just couldn't make the wheel, so he just went to the flank of the other combat, which I don't think was a bad move. Because if he breaks me, he can just turn around and face my general's unit, and so what if I get the charge? So when all's said and done here, he killed the chariot outright, and then he was out of combat and decided just to reform. His general killed the rest of the BESTIGORS, and I think he killed him down to the standard bearer, and when I ran away, the standard bearer died, and he turned to face the GOR unit. And if you look at the picture of the swords and the bloodletters on the right, it is not going to go well. This battle is crumbling left and right. So over here, I forgot to mention it before because it didn't really matter, but on the first turn, one of my level 1s had infinite force, or irresistible force, and became a level 0 wizard. So I've only had 2 wizards with any casting ability. So anyway, during this turn, I decided just to take the unit with my wizards and charge the flamers, because I figure otherwise he's just going to stand there and shoot me and kill me anyway. So I charge, he doesn't stand and shoot, kills several, I fail my panic test, run off the board, all 3 all 3 level 1s. I mean, truly, I thought it was funny at the time too. It was just some really bad tactics on my part. So yeah, there we go. Now he's going to really dominate the magic phase. I get the charge in here. Again, I've got a Beastlord and a DOOMBULL. The MINOTAURS are kind of wasted because I'm only getting 1 in the back rank. My champion, which is the very top, he's not even in the combat. And then, by the way, I forgot to move my RAZORGOR. So now this unit has regen because the Herald, and he's got a spell that on his turn he can cast where everybody in base contact with the Herald is, weapon skill 1, attacks 1, toughness 1. I mean, just everything's awful. And he got that spell off for 2 turns in a row, which really diminished my effectiveness. My Beastlord was just worthless. And then later on, my DOOMBULL was practically worthless. So my ambushers on turn 4 finally decided to turn up, and I just put them on the board. They had to come on the left side, and I just figured, they're not going to hurt anything, so hopefully maybe I can just conserve points. So, yeah. So after combat here, his general wins. I'm steadfast, so I stick around, and then I decide to reform and put him in my flank. And because I have 1 guy in that 4th rank, I can do that because he was only in contact with 4 anyway. So I turn to face the bloodletters, just so I can have some chance of getting some combat res, but it's pretty much hopeless anyway. And you can see on the left I did some damage to his Plaguebearers, but not nearly enough. They're just going to tie me up all game long. So you can see he brings his bloodletters into the 1 combat, moves his flamers over to shoot at my RAZORGOR that forgot to move. And after combat, GORS are gone, which is no surprise. Plaguebearers are slowly getting whittled down, but my GOR unit with all my characters is really getting whittled down. If you look at the 2 markers, those are behind my Beastlord. He's in a challenge with his Herald, who has that spell off. So I'm strength 1, toughness 1, 1 base attack, just awful. So I put a wound on him, I believe. He did 2 wounds on me, and that's just going to be ugly. So this turn, the RAZORGOR just kind of moves around. Not a whole lot he can do. Yeah, we're locked in combat. At this point, obviously, I'm going to lose the game. Now it's just, let's have fun seeing who can do what. I've come down to my standard bearer. My Beastlord is now dead. My BSB is there. I accept a challenge with my DOOMBULL, thinking, maybe if that spell doesn't go off, I can kill his Herald. If it does go off, at least he's got a few attacks, because my attack characteristic is 1, but I've got a couple 1 combats behind me. You can see those red tokens are counting the extra frenzies that the MINOTAURS get. So Demon's turn 5, his bloodletters really couldn't do anything before, so they move around. So on his next turn, he can charge in there. His general, if you look at the top, charges my ambushing UNGOR raiders that finally came on. They failed their terror test, ran off the board. So, yeah, they were great. So wonderful tactics on my part this game. And yes, that is sarcastic. So we're in the combat here with the Doombulls in a challenge with this Herald that just won't die. And he put a wound to my Doombull. He's still sitting on one move with this Herald. His unit's getting whittled down. Thankfully, my Minotaurs can chop some things up. But it's too little, too late. Beastman turn 6. Everything on the table that I own is right there, which is my WARGOR BSB and his Minotaurs. So on his turn, he charges in. Easily kills the BSB, and then he could overrun, but at that point, what does it matter? Because we're not going to fight anymore. So I finally killed all the Plaguebearers, but they were a wonderful tar pit. I mean, I just couldn't do anything about it. So when all's said and done, I'm left with my Doombull and Minotaurs, and he's left with everything you can see, which is an easy victory for him. So Minotaurs really weren't used well this game. Way too often they were kind of, not all of them were getting all their attacks. Although you can see they were winning combats and racking up the frenzy, it doesn't really help. So I found that the demon armies that really give me fits are these balanced builds that have one of each of the core units. I mean, obviously they didn't have pink cores in this game, but I really think anyway, I've just had the least success against these balanced builds, and I think this game was easily. I think my opponent played a very good game. I played not a tactically sound game. The list I brought, I'm really not happy with. If you're going to have the Herdstone and have all the power dice, you need a level 4 to use them. So I had one spell each. After turn 1, I only had 2 spells total that I could cast, and it was ineffective. So anyway, that was it. Beastmen having a lesson taught to him by the demons. Hope you enjoyed it.